Hey YouTube. So I know this review is like super late. I was moving for the past week, so please forgive me. But I've never missed an episode review of the Haves and Have-Nots, and I am not about to start. So before tonight's episode comes on, let's recap last week. So last week was called Criminology 101. So much happened last week. Last week was scandalous. Okay, so this is gonna bother me because my little edges won't stay down, but it's cool. Anyway, so let's start with Jeffrey and the police officer Justin. So, okay, of course, it left off where it ended the week before, and Jeffrey is basically like seducing the police officer, and we all know that, okay, he's like, I'm gonna do something for you, you're gonna do something for me. Well, of course, the police officer, he's curious, and he's really been wanting Jeffrey. And Jeffrey is like, look, I'm tired of playing these little games with you. I'm going to just give you what you want, but in return, you're going to give me what I want. Which I really don't agree with, especially considering the fact, if you think about the way that the police officer treated Jeffrey when he first met him, and he's harassed him and all of these things and violated him, I don't even understand how you could even, like, play this game with him. Like, I would just want to punch you in your face, okay? But whatever the case, Jeffrey ended up, giving him alcohol to entice him to want to move forward with all of this. Then, after it's all over, we see Justin, like, with his handcuffed to the bed. And Jeffrey is, like, basically, like, gloating in a way because he's like, wow. Like, he's, like, really shocked. He didn't expect this, especially I have a down low guy. So then he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to undo the handcuffs because you're a little too angry right now. But since I know the way that you move, I know that you can get to this key that I'm going to leave on the table right here. So with that being said, call me when you want to help me with my mom in this case. And basically he wants his mother to be put away. And Justin is like, I can't do that. I don't have any leverage. My wife is the judge on their case. Exactly. So you can do it. He's like, I'm not going to do that. He said, yes, you are. You're going to calm down. You'll get yourself out of this. You will call me and we will figure this out. And you will help me. Okay, whatever the case, let's be done with that. Okay, so now let's go to David Harrington and Veronica. Veronica deserves an Oscar for that episode. Veronica was so freaking evil. Like, I think that this is probably the worst she's ever been. And Veronica, she tops it for evil. I mean, if y'all remember that episode where Jeffrey told her, like, I'm gay and that's that. And she basically said she was, like, disgusted and no, you're not. And oh man, I had an abortion, I should have kept that one and basically let you go. That was evil in itself. Like, down to the core, that was evil. So I didn't think it could get any worse than that. Oh, but when you cry and you fake cry and you rant and you just, like, put on, like, the waterworks and the theatrics for your friend Maggie's death, oh my gosh. And she was loving every moment of it. Okay, so whatever the case, of course they call her down to the station for questioning because she was there when Maggie got killed. And what's his face? David, he's beating up Jim, and the officer comes in. He's like, hey man, what are you doing? You're going to end up being in here for murder. You need to chill out. He said, no, he killed my wife. He put a hit on her. And he's like, no, he didn't. Your wife is in the other room being questioned. And he's like, what? He said, yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And Jim was like, yeah, I called off the hit. And I'm like, whoa, that changes the whole story because I didn't think that he actually called off the hit, but it all makes sense now. Tyler Perry, you got me right there. But anyways, so all of a sudden, David storms out and goes to find his wife in the questioning room. When he barges in there, Veronica is in the middle of lying to this detective and my friend Maggie, and she was just coming over so that we could talk and we could chit chat, and it was just so unexpected and I didn't expect that to happen and all this stuff. And my friend, oh excuse me, my friend, I'm like, Are you serious? So, whatever the case, if you ask me, I don't think that the detective was believing her. I think that she knows that it was like an act she was putting on. And if she just goes and looks at like some of like their interactions with each other publicly, she'll know that they weren't actually friends. And nobody can vouch for them being friends. But anyway, so then David comes in and he's like, as soon as he opens the door, Veronica goes and hugs him and says, "Oh my gosh, David, thank you so much for coming. And oh, my friend Maggie." And then she whispers in his ear, "Your bee is dead." And I'm like, like, David, he is really good because he kept his composure. And then he even defended her after that. He said, "This is enough questioning. My wife, she's been through a lot. Surely we can pick up these questions at another time." So whatever the case, the police officer, she really didn't want to, but she let it go. And she was like, "Okay, we'll call you back in for questioning." David takes her out to the car. He is pissed off to the highest level of festivity while they're in the car on the way home. And Veronica says, "Are you upset, David? Are you mad? What would you have preferred for me to be the one that's dead?" And then he said, "You killed Maggie Day." Okay, and she doesn't care. So he's looking to see who's trailing behind them. She says, "Oh, that's my security." He said, "You know what? You about to get out this car. Like, I'm done with you." And it's not like David loved Maggie, but Maggie did make him feel like happy and free. And I think that he feels bad because she's like it was an innocent life that was taken because of his wife's craziness. If you ask me, I think she does have a mental condition, and I think that's going to come out later on in the show. Whatever the case, he was like, "I will kick you out this car." She said, "David, no, you won't." He stops the car and proceeds to get out. She said, "Oh, this is the most excitement I've ever had in our marriage. Come on." And so he is like, "I'm about to drag you out this car." He starts dragging her out the car, and her security gets out, and she's like, "Okay, fine." He's like, "Deuces, like, you're crazy." Anyways, we were all relieved when that happened. It's about time, David. Did somebody have to die for you to come to your senses and realize that your wife is cuckoo and you should have left her a long time ago? Anyways, so back at the hotel, we have Landon, we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey comes down to the hotel lobby for a drink. Landon is down there. Of course, he's flirting with him, and he's like, "Hey, just give me another chance. And, like, I'm the best thing you've ever had." And he's like, "No, I've had better." And Landon is like, "Dude, like, you was just a virgin a week ago. Like, what are you talking about?" And he was like, "I've had better since you." And I'm like, yeah. Jeffrey, he's just out here sowing his wild oats. Like, he don't even care. So anyways, then he was like, "No, he's much better than you." While he's saying that, he's looking at Justin walk out of the lobby, and they're making eye contact with each other. And Landon is like, "He's straight." He was like, "I know." And Landon is probably like, "You know what? You always be attracted to these straight dudes. Wyatt Cryer is straight, like, and you don't want me, and I'm sitting up here like out and in the open." But whatever the case, he's like, "Well, what can I do?" He was like, "There's nothing you could do." Whatever the case, their conversation gets sidetracked because he looks at his phone. He says, "Tell me this is not true, what I'm reading." And then Jeffrey looks at it and he was like, "It says Maggie Day is dead." So they rush off. And so from that point on, he'll find that out on this coming episode. What happened? Okay, now the very last thing that I can remember would be Hannah and Benny. So, of course, Benny, it's hard for him to keep any secrets from his mama because he's a mama's boy. And so Benny, he's trying to tell her, like, Candace wouldn't let me have the baby. She won't let you have the baby. And, I don't know what to tell you. She said, "But he needs his medicine," and blah, blah, blah. And she finally figures out, hey, the baby wasn't even there when you went there. And Benny was like, "No, the baby wasn't there." So she's like pissed off. And so she calls the social worker girl and she was like, "Tell me where the baby is." She was like, "I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that." She was like, "Girl, you need to tell me now. And where is he?" So then Dumbbutt says, "Oh, he's in foster care temporarily. Candace put him in there." She said, "Why would she do that? And she could have just given him to me. She's evil. She has a black heart, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, this girl about to get herself beat up again. But we shall see what happens when they all come face to face once again. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out, mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.